we're nearing the end of the season. It's the new DPC rules that came in effect. How have they been for you? Have you found it good, productive?
Yeah, I mean, overall it's been really good, I think. To me, the schedule has been much easier. I mean, last year was so rough that it could only have been easier. But overall, I think it's pretty well balanced. I like the fact that we have a point ranking system. You know, everything is just clearer, much easier to understand, to keep track. Also, overall, it's very good.
Yeah.
The one downside is obviously I think having no invites whatsoever is something that doesn't make sense to me. I think you should at least invite the top 4 or top 6 teams of like the last major. You know, I understand that. So back in the days, you would have like one team winning TI or winning a big tournament, and they would get invited all the way, you know, throughout the entire year, and that doesn't make sense, of course. So I think there's just a balance to be found, you know, between like not inviting a team, not auto-inviting teams, and then, you know, like not inviting anyone. I think, you know, it's like we just want TI and we have to pick qualifiers a week after. I think it's a bit lame.
Yeah.
And same for, I don't know, Secret or VP, you know, they're in every major finals, and then they still have to pick qualifiers. It's too much, you know, it's not good. So it's an incentive to skip the tournament. It's like, and why would you want to incentivize these teams to skip tournaments? It doesn't make sense. So that's the one downside. I also do think that the slot allocations per region is a very big problem. I think it's killing tier 2 or tier 3 teams, like in certain regions.
So you'd like Europe to have more, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, just think about being like Final Tribe or Alliance. These teams are very good, they're very meritful, and they have to go through like, you know, Secret, NIP, Liquid, ourselves, like some top 6, 4 of the top 6 at the last major. In order to get to the minor, they have to beat some of these teams to get to the minor. So, you know, I think it's a bit too rough.
Could you combine that with invites? So the invites are taken out of the region, and then they still get free or whatever.
It gets fixed. You just invite the best teams, like from the last major, like the top 6, for example, auto invited. And if top 6 were from, let's say, SEA, then it means that the SEA teams the tier 2 or tier 3 teams will get a chance now to prove themselves, you know. And it's just, I think it just balances everything.
And the international, which is coming up, a lot of people have told me in these interviews that the international is too big a tournament and it needs to be cut down and shifted across the rest of the season. Obviously, you've done quite well out of TI being what it is, but do you agree with that point of view that TI is too much?
No, I wouldn't say so. Actually, I disagree. I mean, so back in the days, I felt the same, and I got it. It was like you had to win TI to survive. You know what I mean? Like there was no way to sustain yourself winning tournaments, like smaller tournaments, because they were really small. But now the majors are pretty big. You know, you can make a living out of Dota, like easily. If you're a top 15 teams in the world, you can make a living. You know, like you're gonna get a decent salary. Let's say you finish top 5 or top 10 at some majors. Like you also get income from that. You have tournaments to play. It's all good, you know. Like sure, you could lower, like make TI smaller and get it closer. But what's the point? I think what's really special about TI is the fact that it's a one tournament thing. You know, it's like it's the workout, kind of. There's a lot of pressure, sure, but I think that's what makes it that crazy. So people there's added pressure because it's only gonna come one time a year, and it doesn't matter what happened in the season. But that's the beauty of TI. That was what makes it so exciting, and it's a competitive challenge. You know, we're all competitors. We all like challenges, so have that one. You know, like why would we be like, no, TI, you know, it's too challenging? No, it's what it is. It's TI. You know, it's too big, sure. So you feel pressure, deal with it.
Yeah. Some people have told me that perhaps the way that Dota works with patches and teams gaining momentum at weird times perhaps means that putting all of the money in this one section when one patch that benefits one team, it's not like Secret might peak and then suddenly they get nerfed. Is that a worry?
Yeah, it is a worry. I think that certain patches hurt some teams more than others. Like that's for sure. It's not meant to be. It's just that, you know, I don't know, you developed a very aggressive play style, and now they make the comeback goal like really huge, so that if you start dropping the ball, you know, like you just lose your entire advantage. You have to, you know, tone back the aggressiveness that you've built. That's an example, you know. Now, the patch completely, like, it crippled your playstyle. But I mean, being a top team dominating the scene requires you to not only have one card that you can play. So at the same time, it's going to require more work. It's unfortunate, but I mean, if you want to be a champion, if you want to, if you want to dominate, you have to deal with the lack of luck. Also, that's what I mean. You have to deal with a lot of different things. So at the end of the day, like, Dota requires patches. Patches are going to help teams and disable others. You have to deal with it like everybody has done it. And all the teams that have been dominating through a season or one TI or accomplished, they had to go through all this. This is what they went through and this is what they overcame. So if you want to beat these teams, you have to do it.
Okay. Just to close up, in terms of Valve's communication, people have often criticised them for not communicating enough. And I know you've been through kind of a big scandal quite recently, and I think the way you dealt with it was very, very good. Do you feel that's the ideal for what people should be doing, dealing with it through themselves and not Valve having to get involved? Or would you like to see more Valve involvement?
I mean, that's always been Valve's approach to things, I guess. I personally like their approach where they let people take responsibility, and I think it's a nice way of doing things instead of trying to control everything, everything that's being said, everything that's being done, trying to fake it to look perfect, this is what I like about Dota, is that what I like about esports. We're a community, we grow together, there are some mistakes that are being done, and I like it this way, to be honest. I like it this way. I mean, when the Cuckoo thing happened, they made it clear that they thought it was not up to them to deal with these things, that organizations had to, handle these issues professionally and sanction their players if they felt like the need was there. Valve stepped in because an organization made it worse, it was a TNC sanction, that's what they explained. They weren't targeting Cuckoo as a player, it's like they targeted the organization covering the player. I like it this way, to be honest. I mean, I got used to it. It's like they give the community a lot of freedom to handle ourselves, because there was a Dota community before Valve, and I think they respect that. And I like it this way. I think honestly, I can't think of one time where they didn't step in and everything got really ugly and people feared for Dota. I think they always step in when they need to, But they like giving it freedom. Which is another approach I dislike. I think it's a nice approach.
Some people have asked for very clear and cut rules. Do you not agree that that's?
I agree that it's a double-edged sword. It's like you're gonna make really clear and cut rules. So who do they apply for? Like who's really who has to comply with these rules? Like every second top player, or only community figures? When do you become a community figure? Are you it's gonna become? I think things are gonna get awkward. And to me, what is the point of it all? The point of it all is to try to increase tolerance, try to diminish, really stupid reactions like mine was. And I think their role is to keep that in mind. Like, how do we make this community grow? How do we make this community move forward? Is it by making these rules and sanctioning people whenever or is it by making at the positive, as in inspiring or showing, leading by example? I'm not exactly sure. It's hard to say. I feel like but that's more of a way of life. But, punishing, I don't think it helps people that much improve their moral standards.
Yeah, because it just makes them hide it.
Yes, you know what I mean. It's sure, it on the surface it looks nice because there's this wooden stick. I'm gonna hit you with it if you do something bad. So I like the way I like education more than punishment, But once again, that's for the community as a whole. I'm not talking about myself. Obviously, when you do a mistake, you take responsibility, and if you have to be sanctioned, you are sanctioned. End of the story. Because to me, the question you asked is it's wider, it's bigger. It's more about how, as a community, should we move forward. And I think it's more about anticipating, educating, rather than dealing with it when it comes and be like, oh, this is bad, let's sanction it. If something bad like this happened, it means that there's probably a lot of work to be done beforehand.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for, so thanks so much for talking to me.
Awesome.
And good luck out for TI.